to just forgive us that one of our mics doesn't work and you're never going to hear the sound.
So loud.
Just yell, Trent.
Please don't.
Just
Please
yell
don't.
all your lines again for our mics, louder for our mics.
I just can't believe we're doing it after all this time.
Yeah, you get it.
Please
Okay,
don't do that.
We've got our levels. We've got through this sode. I added some new news.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, there was some stuff that dropped. I sent one of the things to you. Thoughts on outro music, or do you want to just play the thong song?
Dude, let's play the instrumental thong song
Yeah.
on our way out. Yes,
Okay.
we're doing that.
We'll play the whole fucking thing because we know it. Dude, I'm going to know that song forever. Okay. Song thong is queued up. The soundboard is queued up. I love the way you fart in your sleep. Okay. I've got this thing pulled up. And then I'll share this with the old crew.
Just say it's not fixed, so you can't hear Trent.
No one cares. They're all right.
Yeah. I like the way. Oh, gosh dang it. I'm gonna have this song. We just heard it way too many
Forever.
times, you guys.
Okay. We've got the outro music. We've got the intro news. These two segments, Steer Game Devs and JD Asks, are pretty straightforward. Do you want me to introduce the thong song at all, or do you want to just fucking roll it right after kudos?
No, do an introduction. It's better. And now we got a little treat for y'all. So we got a treat for you guys, or we got something.
You know what I realized
special something
is a more fitting descriptor for this show is a news and variety show. That's what we are, because half of it's fucking news, and then it's just a bunch
Nonsense
of nonsense. It's a news and variety. I was like, that's the first time I felt like I have a good descriptor of what we are.
Yeah, variety show. I wouldn't have thought of that. That's
news and variety. That's what I'd call us if I was describing it. So, cool. I've got that, and we're ready to cock, lock, and ready to rock. We're recording now.
Yeah, we've been going. So give us a quick pause, and then we'll jump in.
Oh shit! Let me get my soundboard all cute. Let me make sure this. It's the only one I give a shit about.
Dude, the thing is, you can't even. That's like hard to replicate the way he did that. Do it again. Now you do it.
Crave.
Yeah.
Crave.
I can't do it. Yeah, you did it so good. I was like, this has to be the thing.
That's the one. Okay, cool. Okay, tight. All right, I will start this off. All right, dudes. This is it.
Finally.
Just can't believe we're doing it after all this time.
But it's a long time coming, you know.
Drop your sails, everyone.
Buckle up your ski boots.
Hide your gills.
Keep an eye out for smokers.
And remember to always
look for dry land.
Welcome to the Waterworld episode part 2.
You've just logged into the 3-Bit Water Show. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
This is Peterson.
This is Trent.
And we just can't wait to bring you this episode. So we're just gonna jump right into it. All right, our news this week is brought to us by Crave Cookies. Love that, Trent. You know the secrets, the great secrets. What is the sneak peek of the week this week?
Sneak peek of the week. Next week is cereal week.
I already like the way we're going with this.
We already have some, but we got 2 new ones. We have the first one is the waffle crisp.
Okay.
So it is
Ooh.
kind of a maple colored cookie dough.
Did you see a picture of this?
Yes. And I want it so bad.
We before baking it, we throw it in a waffle iron to give it a nice like.
It looks like a waffle, folks. It is crazy.
Do you put syrup on it? What is that? What's on top?
Yeah, so then on top it is a buttermilk buttercream
Get out of here.
frosting, and then maple syrup on top of that. So it does come with maple syrup and powdered sugar.
No, I'm serious. Get out of here.
No,
I am getting
Get out of
diabetes.
here and go make me one of these.
Get in JD's kitchen and
Get
start
in my
making
belly.
cookies.
That's also in the kitchen right now.
Mm-hmm.
Different cookie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just got cream cheese frosting, and then we powder up Captain Crunch and dip the frosting in it, so the whole top of it's covered in Captain Crunch. And then white chocolate drizzle over the top, so it tastes kind of like if cereal milk were a cookie.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Which is good for you because it won't upset your stomach, but you
Nope.
still get that flavor.
Oh, I don't care if my stomach gets upset if it tastes good.
Oh, that's fair.
I'm in. Yeah.
Well, I just don't understand your problem with milk. Tastes like
regular milk tastes gross.
divine
That's fine.
gold.
No.
Trent, when you okay, both of you need a back off milk, okay?
You know what?
I'm sorry I brought it up.
No, I'm going to talk
shouldn't have
about
said
this for a
anything about
while.
milk. Damn it. Dude, Trent, when you're like making different cookies throughout the week or throughout the month. So this cookie you're grinding up a bunch of cereal for.
Yeah.
When you walk into Crave, is it like, oh, this week it smells like caramel, or this week it smells like cereal, or is it always just kind of the same, like baked cookies smell?
This week it's like very strongly caramely smell in there.
Yeah.
Carmelita in there, and that's
I'm gonna start asking, what's the smell of the
smell?
week in
it's like very
Crave?
strong, like that smells like chocolate chip cookies.
So
Yeah.
I know this isn't what's happening, but I'm picturing some like 16-year-old kid who his only job is to go in and like Trent just drops bags of cereal on the ground or
Mhm.
drops them in like a kiddie pool and he's like starts stomping.
Just like grapes.
And this kid's
it's the
like,
same thing
yes.
as when you're
got
stomping
his-
grapes.
I have them in like a big wooden barrel.
Uh-huh.
it's Oreos
and then the
week.
crumbs come out the
It's-
bottom out of a funnel, and Trent collects them in another wooden bucket, and then he
Stomping.
spreads
Yes.
them on your cookie.
Just starts stomping. You got some special footwear.
Wearing the new stomp.
Dude,
The
Crave
it's this week
Stomper.
it's cookies, but next week you don't know. It could be chocolate. Big old bars of chocolate, and just like in Willy Wonka's factory, Trent has human labor doing
Do
things
you
that
have an
machines
Oompa
should be
Loompa?
doing.
Under a certain
Trent only hires short people and like very small children.
yeah,
very
he
young
like
children.
starts stomping. It just gets the Willy Wonka vibe going.
Yeah, Trent, that is excellent. I'm glad you run a Willy Wonka style cookie shop. Okay, let's get into some news. But that means I have to play this hilarious sound. Sony has reversed course on their Horizon Forbidden West release plans.
So last
week, we talked. Go ahead.
Last week we talked about how they were releasing like 8 or 9 different versions of the game, and if you bought it on PS4, if you want the PS5 version, you have to buy it again. And predictably, gamers didn't like that.
basically like, let's see how greedy we can be until we get enough pushback.
They like put it out
And
there.
the best part is that
anyone?
this is in
No?
direct violation to the like promises they made
Mhm.
previously when they were like, no, this is what we said we would do, and now they're coming out with this, which is one of the first big titles for the PS5. Like, let's be real, because there's been so many that have been delayed, and this is a huge console exclusive. We thought, oh, it's going to be Cyberpunk, but that wasn't it. So this is like a big title and a big reason to have the new console. And they just, like Trent said, just went for the greed. PlayStation boss Jim Ryan, writing on the company's official blog, said, quote, "It's abundantly clear that the offerings we confirmed in the pre-order kickoff missed the mark." I love corporate speak. It's so cute.
Y'all didn't like it.
Missed the mark. It's like they're watching out for their own feelings.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hurt my own feelings by being too mean to the decision that I made. So I'm just going to say, did a little oopsie.
Missed the mark.
Just did an oopsie. I'm not going to say my bad, but I did miss. And then he says, this isn't my favorite part, though. So they're basically like going back. They're like, okay, yeah, we'll upgrade you, but just this once, you greedy little shits. This is also Jim Ryan writing on this blog, quote, "I also want to confirm today that moving forward, PlayStation first-party exclusive cross-gen titles," awesome, that is a lot of qualifiers.
Yeah.
Newly releasing on PS4 and PS5, both digital and physical, will offer a $10 USD digital upgrade option from PS4 to PS5. This will apply to the next God of War and Gran Turismo 7 and any other exclusive cross-gen PS4 and 5 title published by the Sony Interactive Entertainment. So basically, this is the only time And moving forward, if you want to upgrade your game from PS4, once you finally manage to get a PS5, he specifically called out these other ones because I don't think he wanted to run into this issue again.
Just and this, look, to be honest, this I understand. This makes more sense to me because they're being very clear. They're doing extra work to put it on both consoles, right? And so if you buy it once and it's they've essentially programmed it twice, the same game, and so they're saying, okay, if you buy it, it's the $60 game. If you want to upgrade it to the better graphics version, which we also had to code, you're gonna have to fork over $10, which I kind of get.
But good luck because Xbox isn't doing this.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Competition's not. This is the first time you'll have seen this.
Yeah, so
good
luck on that one.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's gonna be a little interesting. A report has found that nearly half of Paradox Interactive staff have experienced mistreatment at the studio.
Half.
That's a lot.
What?
I don't know. This seems like a lot. This is the Swedish publisher behind Crusader Kings and Cities Skylines, and also Surviving Mars. And almost half the employees have reported that they experienced, quote, abusive and incorrect treatment. This is a survey that was conducted by Swedish unions, and they spoke to 133 of the 400-ish employees at the company, which is, if you guys know anything about statistics, way more than enough to have a lot of confidence in your findings.
Statistical significance.
Yes. And it also alleges that 44% said they experienced some form of mistreatment. Of those surveyed, 26% were women, where the statistics are much worse there. 69% said they had experienced abusive treatment. So these guys are publishers. I don't think they're necessarily the developers, but they work with a lot of indie devs. So they have their fingers in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, gosh. You just teed me up for that.
Come on,
one.
Peterson.
You can't say that when you're talking about mistreatment.
Mind out of the gutter.
It started in the gutter with this story. So yeah, I don't know, man. This is it's endemic of the whole gaming environment now,
which is everyone's talked about. Like this it doesn't matter where you are, and I know we like to worship indies on this podcast, but they are not above reproach, and they certainly it's not like they're not experiencing the exact same things, because the people that are working in the indie space, it's not like they only ever worked there. And same with the people in AAA. Like there's so much crossover. There's not like there's some invisible wall where all the shitheads can't get into indie games. They probably thrive there just as they thrive. So what's really neat, thankfully, is that Paradox is responding to the news by conducting its own internal survey, and their response is honestly as good as anyone could expect, especially these days with the bar on the fucking floor, where you're like, at least no one came out and said,
dig to
this
find
is
the
a
bar.
witch hunt. Yeah, no one was like, no one came out and was like, this is absolute bullshit, and we've never seen any mistreatment at our studio.
They didn't put out a statement that was like, this has never happened in the history of Paradox.
Exactly.
This
we are
is a
suing,
lie.
and this is a political hit job. Like, none of that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they start the smoke starts.
So congratulations to Blizzard. At least Paradox is like, dude, it's so easy. Like, it's so easy to respond to these things now. Like all these like PR crisis meetings and conferences they used to have in the tech space were probably a lot bigger deal before Blizzard came along. And now they're like, oh, just don't do all the symposiums. All the panels are just like, don't be Blizzard. Just like how to stay under the radar. Just don't do that. So I don't know. Hopefully Paradox will get their shit together. It sounds like we'll see. Toshiba has warned that their power chip output will stay tight for another year.
Meaning you're just at least this is at least a year.
A new refrigerator, a new blender.
Dude,
everything has a chip in it now, and they're all made by Toshiba, and they're making them one at a time, and there's only one guy doing it.
Yeah, they got they're like doing it in a garage still. The garage just has Toshiba.
It's like, oh man, it's just like you guys seen Elf? That is how they make these chips. They're just doing them by hand, and Buddy's the only one that's left. Yeah, everyone cringes when he's like, I only made 50 cards today.
They're like, ugh.
This quote, I have a couple quotes that came from Takashi Kamabuchi, the director in charge of semiconductors at one of the company's units. He said, the supply of chips will remain very tight till at least September of next year. In some cases, we may find some customers not being fully served till 2023.
Dude.
In case you guys forget, because we've been living this like weird nebulous time hell, it is currently 2021.
So we've
September.
already been in a chip shortage for a year,
and that like backlog that started is just that's how long. And the thing is, it's actually kind of funny because they're asking Toshiba, they're asking all these chip manufacturers, like, are you worried that once you catch up with production, you will have over adjusted and you'll have too many chips? And they're like, that's what they say. Yeah. They're like, no, they're like, don't worry about that. Don't worry about us catching up, and don't worry about chip demand going down. Like, nah,
dude.
we're good. So
it's not going away. The demand is just going to get worse.
Yeah.
It's just everything has a chip in it.
It's piling up currently. Like it's actively piling up. Then what's really neat, thankfully, according to Mr. Kamabuchi, is that they're really prioritizing gaming stuff. So maybe like your Toyota truck with the chip is getting delayed, probably more than the PS5. It sounds like. This is another quote. We consider which customer faces the most severe situation, such as the risk of the whole production line halting or the business getting obliterated without the supply of chips. Game console makers are among the customers making the strongest demands, and I'm sincerely sorry for their frustration, as none of them have 100% satisfaction. So even in the video game manufacturing industry, the video game people are the worst and the most whiny and obnoxious. And he feels the need
shut up
to explicitly call them out and appease them. Auto manufacturers are not mentioned here, but the gaming whiners, he's like, oh no, we feel it. You guys bitch a lot.
Yeah.
No, we hear them, and they're never satisfied. Yeah, none of them have 100% satisfaction. Yeah, look at Steam scores. That's the same. It's always something to bitch about. No Man's Sky has finally reached a score of mostly positive on Steam.
We did it.
That was a good segue.
5 years.
Yeah. 17 free updates later. 5 years later.
17 updates.
It's back, baby.
Dude, at least they stuck with it.
I'm so happy.
Dude, I'm playing it right now.
Yeah, Peterson's playing it. He keeps coming back to it.
I can't.
You even have to make it less wet. You still get that.
They made it more wet. I bet No Man's Sky
it
is
is more
100% more wet than it was at launch.
Absolutely. Everything's raining on me all the time.
Absolutely.
There's a blood rain planet.
Ooh.
It's real gross.
They're like, is it iron water? They're like, no, it's literal blood.
Blood.
That's just what it is.
We don't
know. It was there when we got here.
Space bleeds.
The whole planet is bleeding right now. The wind is just screaming.
It sounds like Earth.
Dude, I'm stoked. Hello Games that have been working on this just kind of quietly for years and years to come back from what was a disastrous launch that had
one of the worst.
It really kind of set a new bar of overhyping. The example I saw in one of these articles was comparing it to Peter Molyneux, who was infamous for doing this in the early 2000s. Yeah, hyping games up, saying they could do impossible things.
Yeah.
And then Hello Games came along and kind of set a new standard for that. But unlike Molyneux, they delivered. And they worked their asses off and did it for free. And I hope, like, Peterson's playing again, and that type of thing is when people go back to it and then they bring in more people to sell more games. That's what they're relying on, which is like good, honest work. And that's awesome. They're like, no, we'll just go make a product that's good.
Keep it coming.
So they made one big mistake up front and then just made up for it. And I'm just so proud of the guys at Hello Games. Way to go. China is telling gaming firms China to end solitary focus on profit. I know, right?
Quit focusing on making money.
There, yeah, I'm like, oh, so you're
Oh.
actually like following the tenets of communism instead of doing this weird proto-capitalist version of communism.
Yeah.
Chinese regulators have summoned gaming companies, including Tencent Holdings and NetEase, to discuss further oversight of the industry and the need to de-emphasize profits, prompting a steep share sell-off. Guys, I can't think of a single thing in the whole fucking world worse to say. Tell a publicly traded company
Stop trying to make money.
to de-emphasize profits.
Don't worry about
That
it.
is so crazy.
Don't
to
worry
me.
about money.
If this was a privately held company and they were like calling one dude in or a group of like a board in to be like, hey, you guys got to do X, Y, or Z, they'd be like, cool, we'll go back to the company and do that. But with a publicly traded company, you're basically just like telling everyone that owns shares of that company, your shares will be losing
Yeah,
value.
they're definitely gonna drop. Like immediately. Right away.
This is so
Yes.
weird. Yeah, it looks like Tencent, the company, which is the country's largest gaming company, dived as much as 7%, and which is its biggest fall since July, which we already covered.
Mhm.
And then its rival NetEase, which is smaller than Tencent, they fell 7.7%, probably higher now since you're listening.
I feel like this is
What?
they came out and they were like made a rule and they were like, guys, we don't want your kids playing. You can play on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for an hour if you're under 18. And then everybody heard that and it had a detrimental effect. And this is them sticking to their guns. And they're like, okay, guys, just quit worrying about profits. Like all you guys talk about is money. Oh my god.
You just like want to make money for your
you guys are
capitalist
so
company.
lame.
Oh my gosh, what's wrong with you?
Money.
So before you start patting China on the back for
No.
being like, oh, tight, you're taking profits out of games.
I never pat China's back.
Don't ever pat their back, you guys. They'll put a handcuff on you and drag you to a camp.
I don't want to go to a
I don't
camp.
want to go there. They said this in this is what's been coming out of the statements that they're looking to remove. They want gaming companies to remove, quote, obscene and violent content. Okay. And avoid, quote, unhealthy tendencies such as money worship and effeminacy.
Wow. What? That took a turn.
Are those two things at the same
That took a turn
category level?
Such as, guys, quit worshiping. I don't know. You're worshiping money
I'm like,
so
yes,
much, and like
don't worship money.
everything's so effeminate now.
Every
and you're like,
global
"Wait,
religion
what?"
can agree. Let's not worship money. That's bad. Everyone can say that's like a bad thing outside of America, probably. But
Yeah, and another thing.
effeminacy has got to go. We don't want any women in your video games.
Look, it needs to be just men
Super
going
super
to work
buff dudes.
because they don't know
Only
violence.
super
right?
buff
They say-
dudes and no shirts, so you know they're not women. So we're talking buff dudes only, shirtless, and they're going and they're fighting or wrestling.
Wait, we're back.
They're working so hard, they're sweaty as hell. This is what we want in our game. None
We
of them
wanna
are worshiping
see
money.
sweaty
They're working
men.
in the fields. They got dirt
Yeah.
on their skin.
Ooh. Is it hot in here?
Is anyone else getting hot? Because I'm just trying to make a Chinese video game is all. There's no obscenity or violent content.
It's just
No one's worshiping money.
It's all ambiguous at this
It's all
point.
super ambiguous. Dude, I don't know what is going on in China. It seems like every week is like a new like thing, and which is what I said like 2 weeks ago or like last week. I'm just gonna keep saying it. Just make it illegal. Just make video games illegal, China. They're doing all of this. This is like so much work.
They're like tiptoeing around it.
They are destroying this company. And guys, don't forget, this is all mostly around kids. This is still about kids gaming.
Yep.
So they're willing to just shave millions and millions of dollars off these companies, just telling them what to do, exerting their power over them, all just about kids, which don't, as I mentioned before, only account for less than 1% of their money, of their profits. So when does China just make it illegal?
Soon. We're like 6 months away.
And then Tencent sells off all their games and we can stop like trying to like kowtow and make games for China?
No, that'll never happen. Tencent's just going to move to Korea.
An indie dev is toying with a 4-day work week. In good news, this is the.
Everyone should toy with a 4-day.
If you guys have heard of the game Bug Snacks, the developer Young Horses, they're permanently altering their work weeks to only 4 days in an effort to create a quote healthier work-life balance, which is tight. The co-founder and president Phil Tibotowski told Axios, this comes from that Axios newsletter I love so much, that he believes a 4-day work week is possible at larger studios. Here's some dope quotes from our boy Phil Tibotowski, who is my dog. Well, it could also be Phil Tibotowski.
It really looks like
Tibotowski.
Tibotowski. I thought you were just like
Tibotowski.
mispronouncing it. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, Phil Tibotowski. My apologies. Here are a few of his awesome quotes. Quote, but you have to have buy-in from the top, and their goals and processes and expectations have to be adapted to support the change. He's saying this in order to support the 4-day work week. He also said, people who will always want more, who are never satisfied with what they have, and who will sacrifice the well-being of their employees to get there. These are the barriers to having a 4-day work week.
Yep.
And then finally, this one I loved was, if we're all happier to be at work because we're well rested, I think we're going to be better off in the long run.
Which is correct.
Guys!
That's accurate.
Yes.
Longer days. It's not like
No. It's not 410s.
Nope.
Yeah.
8-hour days.
Because
That
they
was
were
the distinction I was going to make. So he's saying a 32-hour work week.
and they were doing 35 before.
Yep.
And he's like, let's just cut that day off.
Yep.
And do 32.
That's a big distinction because I mean, a lot of my coworkers work 410s right now, but that's not what he's talking
I
about.
would rather work 410s, honestly, than 5. Like, for me, the day is huge. I would rather sacrifice 2 hours a day. And I've done that before. I worked 410s for like a year of my life, and I loved it. That 3-day weekend was huge. And I can't even fathom having 4 8s. And then
You're a full-time worker, 4 8s. He's not talking about cutting benefits because now everyone's part-time.
Nope.
He's saying full-time for them is going to be 32 hours a week.
Yep. So I hope to see a lot more of this, at least breaking out in the indie space where they can get away with it, especially where there's not like a ton of crunch going on. And imagine this. If you're working a 32-hour 4-day work week and you do have to crunch because something's going bad or you really need to get it out there, well, then upping your hours is not that big of a deal because you're only going to... Oh no, I'm gonna have to work 40 or 50 hours.
I worked 40 hours this week, and your buddy who works in finance is like,
what?
I'm on.
I can't believe I'm going into work on a Friday.
Your finance buddy's like, it's Thursday, and I'm at 60 hours right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have to come in every day. I have to come in on
I'm
Saturday and
actively
Sunday.
working. I'm just texting you on my non-work phone right now. Yeah, no, that is.
Dude.
So yeah, I hope that we see that more because that could be really helpful. And I think for this industry where there's so much burnout and people are leaving, if they knew at least the hours were a little bit better, that might attract some better talent.
Guys, happy employees means a better bottom line. That is a fact. That is a statistical fact.
You guys, it's like you never saw that cheese commercial for California cheese where they're like, happy cows,
Happy cows make better
happy
cheese.
cheese.
Mhm.
Applies to humans too, turns out. The Broken Token CEO has stepped down after abuse allegations, but he still owns the company.
Just so you're aware of what's happening here. And you know what? Actually, this is a negative news story, and we're going to put this solely on one of our Discord.
This is all LL Whoop's fault.
LL Whoops. He was like,
negative news
hey,
from LL Whoops.
let's talk about board. When are you guys going to talk about board games again?
Yeah.
And
Here it is.
Here we go.
Here we go.
A board game CEO is stepping down after abuse allegations.
This will be the only thing we cover board gaming this whole episode.
We have 23 employees.
Well, not anymore. They only had.
Mhm.
So the Broken Token is a board game accessory manufacturer. If you guys, we've talked about this a little bit on board game episodes in the past, like mods. When people have these really complex games that have a billion parts and pieces, the ways to organize and sort these, generally people will turn to these accessory manufacturers. I think we have one that listens. I can't remember his
Daniel.
What
Mhm.
what was his designs? Something.
Yeah, I'll look it up. I have
Anyway,
it.
yeah, and this is a really cool industry. Unfortunately, just like everything gaming related, it has some really uncool people in it. This person in particular, Greg Spence, is the CEO. And he's stepped down, but he owns it, and he's a co-founder. Also, as he stepped down, he went ahead and laid off 13 of the company's 23 employees and will retain ownership.
Yeah, well, they had to lay off employees because they lost a bunch
Because
of
they
partners
lost all because of
he was
his
a
shittiness.
scumbag.
So you're telling me that if he'd actually maybe sold or
Daft
apologized and stepped down,
Concepts.
Daft Concepts,
Yep.
so dope.
Yep.
If he had done this earlier and stepped down, he may have retained those, and 13 people could have kept their jobs. But he can't give up ownership of this. I looked into it. The allegations involve an employee who he basically was just like, it's like stalking and sexual harassment. It's like sexual stalking.
Well, it seemed like he was kind of had a relationship with an employee, and then it went
But
sour.
it was like a
and then he
coerced
stayed,
relationship.
yeah, and then he was like real creepy about it.
Yeah.
And then he started doing that to another
employee. And
employee.
she's like, nope,
uh-uh.
nope,
Yeah.
fuck that. And
So-
so she came out. And so he's like really not taking a lot of accountability for it. Again, I don't know what he thinks he's doing here, that he could just...
Says he understands that he created it.
Oh, he understands.
Oh, he learned how to apologize from YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Dude, they're prevalent now.
Yeah.
They're out there everywhere.
Hey guys, I'm here. I didn't ever want to see myself making this video, but I screwed up.
There's no two ways around it.
I missed the mark.
I missed the mark. My behavior missed the mark.
I created this by
Get
missing the
outta
mark.
here.
If I had hit the mark, I wouldn't have created this.
Oh
And
my
I feel
gosh.
terrible. My feelings are hurt. So yeah, we will keep an eye on Broken Token. They had a really they were most well known for making an accessories for Gloomhaven.
Yeah, because that
Because
game needs
is
them.
needs them, right?
Mhm.
So they've I think lost that contract and probably a ton other. So best.
So board game news just for you, LL Whoops.
Yeah, you're welcome. The judge in the Epic versus Apple case has revealed her ruling.
Here we
Apple
go.
must allow the App Store developers to redirect users to other payment
Wow, this is
systems. This trial wrapped up like a month ago or whatever, and there was stuff leaking out, but the judge had not given out her ruling until today, and it is that Epic must... Okay, so everyone, you're going to see some misleading news, and it really was like throwing me because everyone is saying like, oh, Epic lost and Apple lost. And like, oh, Epic got slapped down and, they paid for it. Okay, here's the story. Epic, the ruling says that Epic must still pay 30% of the $12 million they made during this stunt
Mhm.
because it was a breach of contract. Otherwise, the injunction that's set to go into effect in 90 days as written means that Apple must allow developers of all of its applications, not just reader applications, which it was before, to link out to third-party platform solutions. Most notably, this includes the highly lucrative games category on the Apple App Store. So you're telling me that that Fortnite and Epic and every other game on the entire Apple App Store can just be like, do you want to buy some gems? You can click here to buy, or you can click to buy them on our store for like, X dollars.
We'll sell them.
They couldn't even say in their app that Apple takes 30%. They couldn't even, and that would have been a breach of contract if they said, you can buy gems here, but it will, Apple's going to take 30% of that. They couldn't even do that, but now they can. And
Yep.
so everyone is making this like a one-to-one thing, like, oh, Apple got screwed, but Epic has to pay $4 million.
But okay. Epic takes dumps that are bigger than $4 million.
Like they spend that much on plumbing in one of their facilities in a month. And the idea that people are saying, yes, and this is a calculated
$4 million
loss.
is nothing.
$4 million, and people are like, well, Epic took a hit. I'm like, they didn't even notice that. That is like an accounting error for Epic at this point. So this is really cool. Mostly because now it forces Apple to be something other than just like a software leech that does nothing but provide like okay hardware and just iterates on.
I will say the judge did not tell them that they have to let Fortnite back on their store.
Mm-mm.
So they might just be like spiteful and be
It doesn't matter though.
"Hmm."
That's what I'm saying. Like they're and I think Epic's not thinking about Fortnite. They're thinking about the next game. And the next game and all these other things. And so, or just hurting Apple, which is kind of cool. It's a
Coming
zero-sum
after
game.
people.
Yeah, it's tight. I love capitalism. GameStop says that it's moving beyond games and is, quote, evolving to become a technology company. Are games not technology?
They
Stay
wanna be a
tuned
tech-
to find out.
But tops and clothing sure are.
That's basically like in as many words. That's what they said. They're like, we're just going to be selling junk. We're going to be Spencer's Gifts.
Spencer's Gifts of Gaming.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what they should have been. They should have been that years ago. They should have done this years ago, because the idea that I have to go to Spencer's Gifts to get like a God of War T-shirt is dumb. You guys should sell that shit. I think that their whole model, is based on smaller footprint stores for sure. But at this point, like, it's clearly not working. So try something else. They have this is from their filing with the SEC. GameStop has two long-term goals: delighting customers and delivering value for stockholders. For their meme stockholders, because those are the only ones that matter. They're the ones driving it up to $200.
GME to the moon.
How many shares do you have? Oh my god! What did you buy at?
Oh yeah.
Holy shit!
It's only like 200 down.
Only?
Yeah, but
I only quadrupled my money.
Baller.
Only.
7 for a bit. It went
Yeah, it went up. We are evolving from a video game retailer to a technology company that connects customers with. I should read this in. We are evolving from a video game retailer to a technology company that connects customers with games, entertainment, and a wide assortment of products. So get all your crap at GameStop, because that's what they're selling there now. Guys, there was a PlayStation showcase. Did you miss it?
so good.
It was a good one.
What the hell?
I
Better
didn't
than
know
any
You
E3.
guys all need to get PS5s now.
Apparently,
I know.
yay.
Spend some money.
So we've got a couple here that we just wanted. I mean, this is kind of news, but kind of just like a separate segment kind of thing.
It's more like
'cause
hype. It's like
it's
hype.
just a hype. I don't want to call this news because
Yeah.
the trailers were all like a minute or less.
Yes.
There's not a lot of news from them. They were all teasers. So that's the whole news. Moving on into the hype segment. Hype.
Pipe?
Pipe.
Pipe. Yeah. Okay.
Peterson, the KOTOR remake.
Okay,
Go.
guys, they're doing
Just
it.
Go.
They're doing it.
Yeah.
Finally, there
Knights
was-
of the Old Republic, Star Wars. Give us the quick
There was
primer on
nothing
this.
on this. Like there wasn't a thing, but what they announced is that yes, they are working on a Knights of the Old Republic remake. It's not a remaster. They're remaking it from the ground up, and they want to provide the same experience like you had before, but they are remaking it.
Final Fantasy 7.
Yes. So yeah. So that's essentially what they're doing.
Who's making this? Do we know?
It's yes, we do, but I can't remember the studio. When you
but
say
it's
it,
not
I'll know.
it's not EA like who made it the
no.
first time. So
Yeah.
they're gonna just look at the game basically and just completely
And they're going to be like, let's make
a
this
new game.
again.
They're just gonna make it again.
Yeah, but like better and updating systems.
Have we
updating?
So this is. I'm trying to think of if we've seen this. I guess was Destroy All Humans. That's how they did that one too. They've been doing this a decent amount
Like
lately.
this is a thing, yeah. That
where they just look at an old game and then just make it like a 1-to-1 remake, like the Psycho remake in 1997, where it was like a shot-for-shot remake.
yeah, but they like just
But
it's updated.
They update a lot of stuff,
and so that's what they're going to do with
that's
this.
cool.
And I did hear the interview of the the head honcho afterwards, and he was like, guys, be excited for this one, because this is a bunch of mega Star Wars fans making this game.
Do you think they'll change things then?
Well, I think they'll change like little things and background things and nuance.
Well, it just seems like a
Speed
waste.
up the combat a little
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It seems like a waste of Star Wars fans if you're not making new Star Wars
Oh,
stories.
but they're all free. So you see the example he gave is like in our conference calls,
Mhm.
every time someone puts a new piece of like Star Wars memorabilia behind him, and they end up having like a 10-minute conversation about it. They're like a bunch of Star Wars nerds. That's who you want making your game.
That is who you want making any
And
game,
so-
honestly.
So I'm
Super
excited for
nerds.
this. It'll probably be 2023, 24 at the latest.
Did
Or at
you get the
earliest,
impression
I
they've
think.
started working on it?
Yes, they have.
Okay.
He said they've started working on it.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Next up, Spider-Man 2. This is Marvel's Spider-Man. You guys remember they came out. It was a PlayStation exclusive, 2018, I think, and then they came out Peterson and I did some digging, and we
Yeah.
figured this out because if
Mhm.
you guys were confused, like we were, the Miles Morales Spider-Man game is a separate game.
But it's
Mhm.
not like it's very short.
Is it?
Yeah. It's
Oh.
a fraction of the length of the Spider-Man title. So it's kind of like if you bought the Miles Morales game, at least like I got it on PlayStation 5, and
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like I think it's like 10 or 12 hours maybe.
Really? Because
pretty
it's
short
$50.
one.
Yeah.
It
And
is very good.
did he showed up?
With
But
the-
Miles Morales showed up at the end of the last Spider-Man DLC, right? And then they like spun
Like
him
the
off and made him a
character,
new
and
game.
then they made the game.
I think that's the case. Anyway, long story short, the Spider-Man 2 trailer
Mhm.
is you guys should go watch these because we're gonna spoil them
Definitely watch these
because
very
they're
good.
cool to watch. So pause the podcast. Go. There's just 3 and they're like 3 minutes long. Total. Spider-Man 2 is Miles Morales and Peter Parker as Spider-Man together, fighting together, which is
Mhm.
so tight to see.
Yep.
There's not a lot of instances in the multiverse of Miles Morales actually working with a Spider-Man like regularly.
Even in the Miles Morales game, it's like he's taking Peter's place while he leaves for a while.
Exactly. And that's usually how this works, is that Spider-Man and Miles Morales is, and when they bring in a different Spider-Man, he's taking the place of another Spider-Man, taking the mantle. But seeing them fight together is awesome. And they're fighting together, beating up people. And then out of nowhere, out of an alley, steps.
You hear this voice and you're like, wait a
You're
second.
like, that's Venom.
Dude, it's gonna be in the game.
God, it's gonna be Miles and Peter Parker versus Venom, which
And
is
he
not something I think
sounded-
I've seen.
He sounded, and dare I say, big.
Yeah.
Like in the trailer, the teaser trailer, it was
Which
like,
is they're doing Venom
he
right if he's big,
sounds
because he should be
big.
huge.
yeah. And
Uh,
so this is it.
I think it's awesome because I think it opens up. If you've ever seen, I mean, the Peter Parker Spider-Man versus Venom is just like such a classic. It's like it's Batman and the Joker. But you wouldn't expect. I guess it's not a super good analogy, but you wouldn't expect like Batman and Batman Beyond versus the Joker. You'd be like, how cool will that be?
Mhm.
So it's just like seeing two people that are generally just kind of helping each other out, or like it's a mentor-mentee relationship pairing up against. I've never seen this before. I don't know if it's been done before. I'm so excited to see what they do with the story. So cool. Next is Wolverine, which is the shortest teaser of the bunch. All we
Yes.
saw was
It was a
Wolverine.
great teaser, right?
I'm so excited.
So good.
The last one I played was Wolverine X-Men Origins. Did you play that? Yes, it was Justin's, because you let me borrow his brother let me borrow that game, and it was phenomenal. It was
They're doing
so
it again,
violent.
finally.
They made that one so violent that I think just to get around censors or not even to bother with it, because you could do things like you jump off a cliff onto a helicopter and you're like on the bubble of a helicopter and you punch through it, grab the pilot and just hold him up into the blades.
Oh, geez.
And it goes, but it's like purple. The blood is like purple. Like that's how bloody
how they
this
get
game
around
is.
it?
Is like just like they had to make the blood different colors. It's horrifically violent. What was really cool about that game that I loved, and I hope they retain in this, is you didn't really have a visible health bar. Your body just fell apart. Like I think they did have a health bar, but it was like your heart. And so like basically once your organs were exposed, your shield was down, and then you were taking permanent damage that took longer to heal. So like, and you would see it. Like you'd see your ribs exposed, and your arm would get all fucked up, and see your arm bones, and then you.
Dude, they could do some cool stuff with this.
'Cause-
Plus, the trailer made it look like it's gonna be gritty.
Yes.
The trailer was like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Like Logan-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know. I like Wolverine's so cool that it's like whoever you can put him in a kids, because they have like those kids
Yeah.
shows and Wolverine's in it, and he's like, oh, I'm just doing stuff. But the real Wolverine, the Wolverine that is him at his best and most authentic, in my opinion, is the gritty, hyper violent,
But he's just because he has
grumpy.
he has claws, guys, stabby claws.
Yeah,
In the cartoons, he's not like stabbing things. He's just like,
and
Wolverine
somehow
stabs
he walks
things.
around holding all of the collected, like,
He just like cuts through doors and stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, he
and
doesn't care.
Sentinels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the collective anger, angst, and aggression of all of Canada collected in him. That's where it all went into Wolverine.
No wonder.
Yeah, because he's Canadian.
That's Canadian. Canada's secret power
They
is
pour
funneling
all of their
the anger
negativity into
dude.
one dude who can
Mhm.
take it because he's Wolverine.
He can take it.
He can take it. Last one is Wolverine.
Nope.
Nope. Last one is JD reading whatever is on the teleprompter.
Wolverine, guys. Let
Okay,
me
so
tell you about
Wolverine, the
this.
trailer was so cool. No,
On the 360, I played.
I'm just gonna say the exact same bit. He'll say anything.
Just goes back in.
You guys didn't know. Peterson and Trent just kind of do this podcast. My whole part is scripted. Every fucking line.
He spends hours each week writing out exactly what he's gonna say.
I just get stuck and I melt down. My brain can't handle it. Guys, the next one up is God of War Ragnarok. I
This
scrolled
is the
down. I
one.
scrolled down. This is the one.
This
This trailer is the one we don't want to spoil, but we're going to spoil it. This is the one you definitely should watch before you listen to this. Okay, so his boy, the boy is Loki. He
Yep.
fights Thor, who's a fat Thor, which is apparently the more authentic portrayal of Thor.
Yeah, like he's drinks all the time and sits up there.
Yeah.
And he's Thor.
He's Thor. And then he goes and he finds Tyr, who is some giant. He's like
He is the Norse god of war.
kind of, yeah, like the closest like equivalent. And he's like 10 feet tall.
He's huge.
So he's tall daddy.
Tall daddy.
So we got a
we're
tall
getting it.
daddy in this. It's got everything. It's got everything.
Odin, Thor. It's Ragnarok. So it's called God of War Ragnarok. It's Kratos. It looks like Kratos trying to keep his son out of Ragnarok.
Mhm.
He doesn't want any part of this. You know,
Yeah.
he's trying to get out of the god killing game.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to kill gods anymore. And dude, I mean, what excited me for this was the story. I mean, the game looks dope, right? It's a God of. It
just-
looks
it's
like the
good.
last game,
Yeah.
like in terms of
There's a
mechanics
wolf.
and
There's
stuff.
a wolf-powered dog sled you
Yep.
used to get around.
Mhm. It looks great. It looks incredible, but the story was so intriguing in this trailer. I was like, I need to play.
And
this
it's pretty
game.
brief. Yeah, you kind of get sucked into it.
Mhm.
I'm curious because okay, so you guys remember from your Marvel knowledge of like Norse mythology that Loki is half frost giant.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, do you guys remember Jotunheim in the game? Remember those huge
Yeah.
giant skeletons?
Yeah.
So you're telling me the boy's got some growing to do.
He's got a little bit of growing to
He's
do.
gonna be a big giant boy.
Yeah.
And he's got
gonna be
he
a
won't
big
be
boy.
boy anymore. He'll be big boy. I'm so excited for
Man.
big boy. Man boy. Man boy, come here.
man boy.
Man boy. All right. Who knows is our positivity segment. I'd like to give a shout out to something we're into, and Peterson has a Fudos for us this week.
Yeah, Fudos. Okay. Apple has released their Apple Mountain Dew. Sorry, let me start over.
So close. Did you check your script?
Soda now because they can't make money in the App Store.
Yeah, but it's good.
Okay, Mountain Dew has released their Thrashed apple flavor. And I got one. So this is a kudos to that dew, but also I was made aware to my
A Dudos.
Dudos.
Ooh.
A Tudos, guys.
A Tudos Dudos.
Tudos Dudos. But also my individual Smiths, because I bought this soda on September. What's the date today? I bought it on the 9th.
Yeah.
And it's
They
not
broke
supposed to be
embargo on
released
this
until the
soda. No one in
13th.
America's got this.
Gonna lose their license to sell now.
Dude,
Yeah,
and it was
dude,
I mean,
Harry
it wasn't like
Potter
there was a
books.
little bit out. There was piles of it out, like
Yeah.
so much. So I got this Mountain Dew Thrashed apple. I was skeptical because Apple is, Apple and Dew. That I don't know, and
risky.
I'm into it. It is very apple-y.
It doesn't really taste like Mountain Dew.
No,
But
I guess that's the thing.
it's good.
It's like an apple beer, but sweeter.
Apple ear.
Yeah, it's very appley. I liked it a lot. I thought it was one of their better new flavors. So kudos to Mountain Dew for releasing a good one, and also kudos to the Smiths I went to for really screwing the pooch and releasing it early. I appreciated it.
You can't say what the address is. You don't want to get in trouble.
No. Gosh, keep this release dates up. They just get it, and some teenagers putting it out there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, dude, how much we selling this for? $5?
Yeah, and
Okay.
it says like there's probably a sticker on it. It's like, don't break embargo or you'll lose your job. I don't even fucking pay $9 an
I
hour.
don't even
give a
like
shit.
this
I hate
job.
this fucking
I
job.
just want to drink some of this dew, though.
I just really
Can't find anyone else.
yeah, exactly. So I have one that I just wanted to bring up. This is a double kudos and a recent double kudos.
Tudos.
But Peterson and I spent like an hour on this website last night, and I'm like, because we're gonna be
double dip.
We're going to be talking about it a lot. Desertdrinks.com. Desert/drinks, not
That's so
dessert,
cool.
but desert 1S. This is a website that has like they're international
from other
snacks and
countries.
sodas
Mhm.
and candy. What?
Yes, they had type. You didn't notice that?
I didn't see those.
What? There were so many of them.
That's sick. Oh, my course trend got some fucking Thai Pokemon cards. That's the illest. So yeah, we got on there and Peterson
we
and
got
I
stuck.
dropped $150 on this stupid website.
We bought
so much shit. We got like 18 different types of Cheetos. You know what? I should just pull this up and I
Don't
can
read them all.
You don't want to hear them all?
No.
Okay, well,
Read
if you
just
guys
a
want to
couple
hear
of
them
them.
all, we are going to be doing this. We're going to get our YouTube figured out so you can actually hear all of our mics. But we're going to just once a week with every episode, we're going to try one of these new Cheetos. We have Doritos,
Oh,
we have
man.
Ruffles. We have Peterson got these Oreos that are like, what are they? Sakura
strawberry.
Sakura strawberry Oreos.
Oreos.
They're like pink all the way through.
I was like, I gotta
It's
get
like
this.
$15 for a package of Oreos.
It was a lot.
Absolutely worth it. So yeah, we'll be testing these out and just reviewing them on our YouTube before we record. So keep an eye out for that. All right, that does it for kudos. And guys, we have a little treat for you. So Peterson, spin that treat.
Okay, I'm gonna pause right here because we're probably gonna have to skip something.
Okay.
Because it is 6:40
It's way
right
late.
now.
Okay.
Send me this. What is that? They just have it up on the big screen and Quinn's watching.
Oh, they're watching you right now. That's so cute. Okay, do you want to skip?
Let's skip.
Yeah, we can move one of these to the next week.
Let's move Matrix next week.
Okay,
Because I
Matrix
want
next week.
to.
Okay.
Because then we can do a Matrix bit.
Oh yes,
Right?
That's so
do
good.
a
We can do a
Matrix
whole
bit.
quote, like a whole bit from the Matrix.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yes, that sounds exciting. Okay, yeah. So we'll just do JD Asks and we'll be out. Okay, let me play that. This shit. This is so good.
I love this.
JD's Asks. All right, guys. JD's Ask.
Nope. JD asks.
JD asks. JD's Ask
Yes.
is where I ask something. And this week, my JD ask is, what is one game?
Oh my gosh.
He's asking.
What is one gaming technology you'd like to see in the next 10 years? I don't know really what got me here. Probably thinking about the fact that I won't see a PS5 likely until 2024, and then starting to think, well, should I just pre-order a
skip?
PS6?
Yeah.
Your answer is just anything that's available.
Anything I can get. That's my answer. In 10 years, I'd like to be able to buy a piece of gaming technology. Well, how about you guys?
I don't know any technology really. Anything with a chip in it, I want.
Yeah, I'll rip that out and I'll just stuff it in my computer anywhere. It
No,
should
we're
make it
gonna
run
have
better.
to take them out and start selling them for the precious metals that are inside
Oh,
because we're gonna run out.
you're telling me we're gonna have like chop shops for laptops?
Oh my god. I mean, probably.
Yeah,
Aw.
they're probably out there somewhere.
Hey, at least we're recycling.
Okay, look, mine is okay. When I started 30 years ago, when I was gaming on the Nintendo Entertainment System, right? I'm sitting there playing. I'm sitting at a desk, looking at a TV, holding a controller, playing a game, right? Everything has changed, but nothing's changed. Right? Now when I play,
Yes.
I'm sitting on a couch, looking at a TV. The TV's changed, the couch has changed, the
There's no
controller's
cord.
changed, but I'm still sitting there holding a controller. I want to get away from that. I want to get into
Yes.
AR, right? Where what if I'm the controller? What if I'm wearing a full haptic suit? Because I don't want like a Move controller. I want a shirt with sensors and gloves with sensors, and I'm moving, and it's getting all of this.
Dude. Dude.
Yes, except for not the evil corporation part of it, which that will be there.
that it goes without
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, that'll
That's
be
gonna
there.
happen.
Not
That's
into
just
that
gonna happen.
so much, but I want AR. I want to be in my room, and my room doesn't look like my room, and I'm playing, and I'm sitting there.
You're just
doing
seeing
stuff.
everything. You've got
Dude,
AR, you've got a holodeck.
that's what I
you've
want.
got a
Hey, quick
shirt.
question. Did you ever do any of the what was that company that was out in Lehigh?
Oh,
Hell yeah,
I haven't
that
done
was
that.
awesome. So
And
tight.
that's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want.
That's-
And that was like 4 years ago that I went to that. Where the fuck? What have they been doing?
They're in California.
They just went out of business during COVID. They had this was the greatest.
That answers my
greatest, like, gaming
question.
experience I ever had. They had so on the Oculus they have a Vader something like Star Wars series.
Mhm.
But the prequel to it takes place at the Void in Disney World.
Mhm.
And it's one of those one-to-one VR experiences.
What?
And so like you're walking through the room and you can reach out and like touch R2 and everything as he's moving alongside you and everything. Like it's that same thing.
Yeah.
It's a one-to-one experience.
Yep.
So that was my answers. My answer was I just want to see like I want to see first of all like big companies adapt to VR and start putting out titles like we saw it with Half-Life.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to see real VR titles, and I want just some sort of like one-to-one movement, even if it's just like a workable like VR treadmill or something that lets me walk, because that's the biggest issue is that motion sickness.
Yeah.
Porting around and stuff.
Yep.
But I'm the same thing. I want like full immersion. I want to stop staring at a screen.
I know. I want to be there. I want to be there doing it. And I mean, you said 10 years. I think that's pushing it, right? But 15, 20 years we could be there, and that's where I want to be. I want to play. I want to be in a game, not VR in a game. I want to be I want to feel like I'm actually in a game playing, whether it's VR, whether it's AR or
See,
whatever.
I don't think
there.
I think VR is a non-starter. You guys have heard my opinion on this, that like it's asking our eyes to do something that I don't think they're used to. It's like trying to hack our brains. Our eyes. You can hack our brains probably easier than our eyes.
That's what I want. I want our
Drill-
brains. I want to play
and
Roy.
put a chip, into my head. The one thing that Peterson touched on that I'm really obsessed with that I think is this one is not hard. In fact, this is something we could have done years and years ago, is a glove. And I don't mean like you need this like a whole glove that's going to get all sweaty. I'm talking about just sensors, maybe just on your fingertips. And you could build this where you could just slide it on, and then you can have different button clicks. Like that's 1, 2. So if you have, you guys not watching, I have pretending I have buttons on my fingertips. And every time I touch my thumb to your fingertip, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's
Okay,
just 4
easy.
buttons.
I can't do half of that.
That's why, because Peterson would limit this. Oh, you
can't do
literally
those.
couldn't use these.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. No, I want it to be just finger movements, like a piano almost.
I guess that would come down to the.
You definitely need like tactile feedback of some sort.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, so that's
true.
what I'd like, and that's what I'd like the engineers to come up with, because I'm thinking,
I could
you
do
think
this.
about, this is a dumb example, but like Iron Man in the MCU, he's flying around doing all these complex things and asking his suit to do these things. Like he's definitely has slight motion controls
Mhm.
based on hand movements that you're doing, and I feel like you could get more, I don't know, button presses. You could get more output out of this than a controller. That's just my opinion.
Probably. I like that, but the other thing I feel like I'm missing a ton of in any of these new technologies is like weight. I want some way to experience, like if I'm playing a first-person shooter or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I hate about playing VR shooters, for example. It's like, yeah, it feels cool to like shoot the gun, but it still feels like I'm holding a controller. I want to feel like I'm holding like a heavy object or something.
You want to be holding a
Just
gun.
maybe you can adjust it based on like age or whatever. Like, but I want to feel the weight of something, because that's the immersion element that I feel like I'm always missing. Or like swinging a sword in VR doesn't ever feel like swinging a sword.
Yeah,
It
that's
feels like I'm
true.
chucking a controller.
So you got gloves, and they are hooked up to a reservoir of water that sits on your coffee table,
Oh my gosh.
and really long cords, and then like ballast in a ship. They fill to
Oh my
land
gosh.
weight, and then it's like more and more weight as you're holding a heavy, or you're like picking something up heavy in a game, and it's just like pumping so much water that you're like lifting up a big. No, I don't know. I'm still fixated on the glove thing, because I think if you're like you just imagine a glove that could recognize, pretend that you have a controller in your hand. So you're just doing this, and if you hold your hand in this way, like you're holding a controller that's invisible, and you push your thumbs forward, well, then you should move forward, or backwards, or left, or right, or like if you're telling me that we have all these finger motions that we can pick up on a screen or on all these other different devices and technologies, and we don't have the technology to do some form of a glove. Like, I'm not saying this needs to be the main way to consume video games, but how is this not even a fucking option?
I'm sure we have the technology, dude. I'm sure it's like cost prohibitive.
Yeah. Well, everything's cost prohibitive once you start it, but like that, like how is no
Yeah,
one
they're-
exploring? They've got the Wiimotes, they've done the Kinect,
Yeah.
and no one's been like, can we just do fingertip like not even mesh? You just need 4 little sensors here and a sensor
Sensors.
here. And I like what Trent said about a tactile feedback, because imagine the idea, like a controller rumbling in your hand is one thing, but a controller is squeezing your fucking hand or like putting pressure on it.
Mhm.
On both sides,
Yeah.
ooh, or on your fingers, like just one finger, and you know what that means.
Yeah, that would be cool. So I just want to see more. I want to see controlling and viewing a video game differently,
Mhm.
because it's been the same for
I'm
30
tired of
years.
The only real evolution we've had is graphics.
Graphics.
We're there. We've got like
Mhm.
very photorealistic
I-
graphics.
I'm not-
I don't want to see real.
Yeah.
See
Yeah.
where we're at right now. Now give me something else.
30 years ago, I remember being a kid being like, oh man, I just wanted to look like so realistic.
Yeah.
Like you're playing a movie. And I
We
think
got there
we're
10 years
I
ago.
think we're at the point where I don't think people are saying, I just want the graphics to be better. Right. We're not getting that. Like, games look incredible now when they want to.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, we're past that. Now what? What's next? That's where I'm at with technology.
And I think the thing is that people thought it was VR. And that's why people went so ham, is that everyone feels this way. Like, why are we still doing the same thing, gaming the same way? And then VR comes out, they're like, hey, look, it's a headset, it's all this stuff. It's like the Virtual Boy, but not shitty. And everyone's like, oh, well, this is it. This is the future
This
of
is what
gaming.
we're gonna
But
do.
it's not. And that's what I'm saying is it has been tested, it's been tried. If it was going to catch on in a true sense, not one that's bolstered by a psychopath billionaire, it would have caught on, and it didn't.
I sort of disagree. I think it could. I think the biggest reason it hasn't caught on is because there's like 0 full-length VR titles, period. Like having an Oculus for the past couple of years, it's never been something I even can sit down for more than like an hour and a half to play, because there's nothing that
Yeah.
can last that long.
That's fair.
Well, and
But-
I think VR, why it's been prohibitive is why it hasn't been successful is it's
the
the
time limiter on it.
Well, it's cost and quality. Like, it's still not amazing quality, right? And I think a lot of people are like waiting for it to get into a quality range and a price range, so they're like, now it's worth it, right?
Yeah. I don't know about you guys. I have just one last one on the way out. I think this one is actually very feasible in the next 10 years, is that we see cross-platform being a standard for all multiplayer. In 10 years, right? Like, it has to be. Like, you just expect it, and then if it's not cross-platform, you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. But otherwise, I think that is where we should be. Does anyone have anything else, or we want to move on?
Move on.
All right, cool. That means we can. Days of Destiny. Can't find this clip. Okay, Dice of Destiny is this fun game we play at the end of every episode. We roll a 6-sided dice to see who will be responsible for rolling the Dice of Destiny, a 20-sided dice with 20 different game genres assigned to it. Then we roll a 6-sided dice to see how much that person can spend on their game. Then they find a game in that genre, in that price range, pick it, play it, review it. Peterson, a couple weeks ago, rolled a real-time strategy. No,
I rolled a
Turn-based
turn-based
strategy.
$50, I think, or any price. And I picked Warhammer 40,000 Battle Sector. I was hesitant to play this game because it's a Warhammer game. And you just never know what you're going to get.
It's always just a crapshoot.
Yeah, there's a million of them, and most of them are bad. But it had good reviews, so I picked it up, and I started playing it, and immediately was like, yes, this is the game I want to play.
Mhm.
It's a top-down game where you are controlling, just like in the tabletop game, squads of units. So it's groups of guys. They all have a point value assigned to them, and each mission has a point max. So this mission, you can use 700 points. Build your army however you want, right? But you only get 700 points.
Okay.
And so you put your army together and you do these missions. I have played 10 hours maybe. The missions are varied in difficulty and objective, which has been really cool.
And this is all linear, like a story.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's a story, and I'll just get that out of the way. The story is nonsense.
Yeah.
I even tried to pay attention this last time, and I was like,
No.
"Who cares? No, this is terrible." But this is
Yeah, who gives a
Warhammer
shit?
40,000 to me
Right.
in general.
It's all nonsense.
Some people love it. The story to me is just garbage. I do not care. So, but I don't care. The
Yeah.
game is fun. So what you're doing is it's classic. Every unit has a certain amount of movement points and an action point. So you can move so far and action points, and it's all distance based. Like your attacks are distance based. Okay, this can attack. This gun can attack from 1 to 4 tiles away, but its optimal range is 3. Right, you're gonna do the most
Mhm.
damage at 3, right, or something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
And so every unit's got their own.
Is that UI
theme.
pretty clear?
Yeah.
Ugh,
Yep.
I love
And
that
movement,
shit.
and the movement is different for every unit. They've all got something, a little bit nuances to them. But it's classic. Go in, you've got your army, you're gonna set up, and then the enemy's gonna come in. You're like tactical.
Mhm.
There's cover, and it's not as cover based as I thought it would be, but cover does provide you some defense. Height provides you defense, right?
Yeah.
And so you're playing it. It is a solid turn-based game. I told Aaron, I was like, Aaron, I'm playing this game. You should check it out. I know you like those types of games. He picked it up because he found it for like $28.
Oh,
because
shit.
normally 40. He found it for like 28, and he was like, dude, he texted me later that day, and he was like, Battle Sector's solid. It's a good game.
I love when you find a dice game you want to recommend to people.
Yeah, like
it's so
I
good.
do recommend this game. It is very good, very fun. What I will say, last week I had said, well, I hadn't gotten into it. You can't change out the weapons yet. I
Mhm.
don't think you can. I've not seen that yet. And it seems like the capability is there, but that has not. I'm far into
You're like
it.
into it.
And
into
I'm
it.
not there yet,
That is
which
strange.
seems bizarre. But you are unlocking abilities for
Okay.
them, and you're unlocking abilities for your heroes. So they're getting like more abilities and stuff, which makes them cost a little bit more in your army. So no, very solid game. It is lacking. What I'll say is my nits are the story's dumb, but you can just skip that. It does not matter. The story's dumb. There is a lack of factions. So Warhammer has like 1 million factions, right?
Yeah.
This game has 2.
What?
Tyranids, which is like the insect people, and like
It's
the
like Warcraft 1?
and the Marines, yeah.
What the?
And I would put all of my money on that they will release DLC with new factions,
yeah.
which
Will be
if
good.
there were 3 or 4 factions in this game, oh my, they would be incredible. Because even the Tyranids and the Marines play very different.
Mhm.
They are very different, like abilities and all that stuff. They just need more different types of units, more factions coming in, because that's what Warhammer's all about. So that's my biggest nit. It will happen. I'm positive they'll release. I'm positive they'll release the gun, like switching out guns and
Mhm.
weapons for the units, because it looks like the mechanic is there, but I don't have any other guns to
I
put in
wonder
there.
if it's easier to balance a game this complex if you start really small and then let
and then
a
put some more
million
stuff
people
in.
play test it, because then
Yeah.
you can watch in your back end the win rates of
Yeah.
these different races and adjust them before you're doing it with like 5 different races against each other.
I will.
I wonder if that's why.
I'm playing it on normal, like just
Mhm.
the normal difficulty mode, and it's easy.
Oh, that's nice.
Like I would actually pump it up. I mean, I have had to restart levels because I'm like, oh shoot, I totally
screwed
messed
up.
that up,
Yeah, been
and I'm
there.
gonna lose. But I lose very few units.
Mm.
Like my guys almost never die
Yeah.
because, like, oh, now I'm on my second playthrough, I know exactly what's gonna happen. And so my guys don't die, so it is pretty.
What does it
easy.
go? How many difficulties are there above?
4. So there's 2 more above normal. So you can. It's like easy, normal, hard, and very hard. So I would play it on normal and then bump it up to hard.
There is no standard, because some indie games you play on easy and you're like, I'm never going to beat this.
This is
fucking thing.
impossible.
Yeah, this is the
This
hardest
game
I
is
ever
not
played.
impossible.
Yeah.
On normal,
Okay.
I thought it would be harder than it is. But I'm just cruising through it. It's fun. The missions are fun. They do take a long time, surprisingly. The dialogue is dumb. Like your characters will say stuff and you're like, ugh, shut up.
Shut up.
And probably just because I'm not a Warhammer 40K fan.
They're all
What's going on at this point.
You're like, don't say that name again. It's such nonsense.
Are you, and I'm like, are you a robot or are you a human? What are you? So that kind of stuff is dumb, but the gameplay is so fun, guys. And for $40, I do recommend this game at $40. But with the caveat that it's a Warhammer game, it will 1,000% go on sale.
So this is
They all
buy on
do.
a sale or buy on or wait for a sale.
I would just put it on your wish list. Honestly, I would buy it at $40 if you really want to play it.
Sick.
But I'm just gonna say it'll go on sale probably in the next couple months.
What food is it?
Okay, if this game was a food, what food would this be? This is like so when I love Mexican food, but this is like a fast food Mexican food because I love it. It's good. I love it. Do I have complaints about it?
Yes.
Absolutely I do. But I'm never going to stop eating Taco Bell and Del
Right.
Taco.
Time.
Taco
Oh,
time. I'm not really
baby.
into Taco time as much, but I'm not going to stop eating fast food tacos. Is it the best type there is? No. Am I into it? A little bit, like I'm into it, but I'm not like a huge fan. That's not my favorite type of Mexican food.
But
just like Warhammer is not my favorite type of turn-based strategy game.
Keep playing it even after this.
Absolutely. I'm going to finish the game.
hell yeah.
It's a blast to play. So, just like Taco Bell is a blast.
Nice.
Gotcha.
I like that. Yeah, got there.
So, great game. Buy it. This is a good one.
Okay, that means we've got to re-roll Peterson. Here are your dice.
All right. So
roll that 6-sided. We'll go 1, 2.
I'll be 1, 2.
Three,
JD's
four,
3, 4. Trent's
5,
5,
6.
6. 2. I'm back up, baby.
Okay, Peterson, pick your game.
I gotta finish Warhammer. Okay, so now I'm rolling the 20-sided die, and it's a 6.
Yeah, 6 is an RTS. Just
Didn't I
strategy,
just do that?
baby.
Here we go.
Okay, so RTS is off, and fighting is back on the board. And I feel like we just did that recently. We've been rotating
We've been blasting
through these.
through. Okay, how much can I spend on this game? Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So
okay.
now it's a rule change introduced by one of our listeners.
This is a
He's
great.
got
This
to
is
get
on Twitter,
Discord.
wasn't it? Or is it
I think he
Discord?
suggested this on Twitter. Is that now that Peterson has rolled a 1,
Mhm.
he has options where he can spend fewer than $10.
15.
No,
Oh.
I think we would adjust it. So
Okay.
either fewer than $10
Wait.
or a backlog game, right?
Yes. So you can either buy a new game for $10 or less, or
Now you can look at your backlog
Pick a
for an
backlog
RTS game.
and
Hey,
so
we could do 15, but I don't know.
10's hard.
10 is hard. We can do
There's
15.
almost like $12 games.
Yeah,
This is
totally.
going to be a tough one. I don't think I have any RTSs that I haven't played though. That's the thing. This is a genre that I'm very purposeful about when I buy them. So I don't. All right, this is going to be a tough one. All right, RTS guys, if you have recommendations, hop on our Discord and there's a channel. Send me your recommendations. I will definitely look at them. I might not pick it, but I'll definitely look at it.
Yeah.
Read your suggestions.
Some of them have been great. I've picked games that people have recommended before, but I just have to. It really depends on what I'm in the mood for.
Yeah. Okay. So you have a
$10
RTS, and it's Peterson. Okay, guys. Well, that does it for us this week. And to play us out, we got some song that I'm sure has already been stuck in your head this
It's in
whole
your head.
episode.
We don't even need to introduce it.
You're welcome. Spitting it real. I'm JD. Signing off.
This is Peterson going AFK.
This is Trent logging out.
Let me log you
Thong,
out.
thong, thong, thong. Baby.
Like it when you're AFK. Not thongs.
It's always a thong.
Okay. Okay, hit stop. All right.
Okay. I know you guys got to bounce,
Okay, hold on.
so do not hesitate. Shit. Let me see that.